I can say that when I entered the Pentagon in 2015 as a three-star general, the words I never thought I would ever speak in my career were data management pipeline. But we became intimately familiar with what data management pipeline was all about. That is the sine qua non of any AI project. It starts and ends with data, and it really never ends because you're always trying to update AI models that you've already fielded. You have to sustain them, and that's a separate challenge that we can get into a little bit in the form of continuous integration, continuous deployment. But what we found was, all right, so we have a commercial company that's got a very good, very high performant AI algorithm, but it was built on whatever they built it on, was not built on the data that we had available to us. So if people have asked, well, why did you start with the Middle East when isn't North Korea, China, higher priorities? Well, at the time, people were dying in combat in the Middle East. So that was a great urgent need for us. But two, that's where the data was. We had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hours of full motion video. And that's what we started with. We call it FMV. Where's it coming from? It's coming from drones. And at the time, we were talking about Reapers, MQ-1s, Predators, and MQ-9 Reapers, and then eventually Global Hawk, which is a little bit different challenge in terms of the imagery it produces. But we had so much imagery already available. Sounds good, but the problem was it was not ready for, as we'll say in the colloquial term, was not ready for prime time. It had to be collected. It had to be cleaned. It had to be curated. It had to be stored. We then had to train the AI algorithm and turn it into an AI model. Then we had to do test and evaluation, and then we had to ship the product. All of those were by themselves challenging, but put all together exceptionally hard to put it all together. But it began with this data challenge. I think it's a little hard for some people to comprehend, but back in those days, those early days, they were taking a truck around to individual exploitation sites that where the humans were doing this analysis, picking up cassettes, the equivalent of cassettes of video, bringing it back and having to do all that. That has changed a lot since then. I'm happy to report it's become a lot more automated, but it was a excruciatingly challenging way of getting the data preparation. That's why I say that anybody in government who gets excited about AI tends to be stymied by this data problem. Like once they learn what it takes to do all of this data cleaning, and then, as we found out, you also had to do data labeling. We had grand ideas about the Intel analysts that were doing the exploitation of full motion video would also become, just by nature of their day jobs, to be data labelers. It was exciting for about 30 seconds, and then it became quite not exciting when you realize how you had to label that. And I tried this a few times. I got in and labeled some data. It was so new, so novel. It was exciting for just a little while. Then you realize it was pretty hard work. So we ended up having to buy contracting support to do our data labeling. So you had to get hundreds of thousands of images because that's what computer vision state of the art was at the time. 5 images, 40 images, 1,000 images, not nearly enough. So if you're trying to classify vehicles, buildings, and people, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of images required. So that meant hundreds and hundreds of thousands of labeling. And once you do the labeling, you need quality control of the labeling. And once you do the labeling, you have to do test and evaluation. All these things came together. And this is where I will say, people have strong opinions sometimes about Palantir as a company, but they helped build our data management pipeline. We didn't know what it looked like. We didn't know what the AI lifecycle looked like. The people in the DoD that had done some AI in the research laboratories were very good at it at extremely small scale, like hundreds of images, maybe one GPU, although we were challenged to find anybody with a GPU back then. And yet now we're talking about we need 200 and some GPUs to do the crunching on this computer vision model that we want to put downrange. So the data was available. It was hard to get the data. We had to get rid of, 10 hours of scenery, only 9 hours was worthwhile. So get rid of the rest of it, and then clean and label the data, and then get it prepared to training the model. And that's where the companies would work very closely with us, side by side with us, to take the DoD data, repurpose an existing AI algorithm, and turn it into this AI model. And they would be involved in the testing and also in the fielding. So this was the hard part. And I guess the final thing I'll say about this process was what we also found out as quickly as you could imagine It was the underlying infrastructure in the department that was not established to be a digital company. You've probably heard me say this before. The DoD was built as a hardware company in the industrial age. It needed to become a software-centric company in the digital age. That transition is as hard or harder for the DoD as for every other major company that was never built as a digital company. Your Microsofts, your Googles, your Amazons, they were all built as digital companies. Every piece of data to them was a piece of gold. And they were built that way. Every click we all make on a website is more digital gold to them. We didn't have anything like that in place. So there's this digital modernization piece that was missing from the Department of Defense, still missing to some extent, although everybody has a much better idea of what it means to be digital modernized than they did in 2017 when we got started. But that's the crux of the data challenge. We worked hard to get our way through it. Many, many lessons learned. We did everything the hard way probably the first time around. Working with the commercial companies made it a little bit easier. But I'm glad to say, fortunate that a lot of this has been more automated now than it was back in those early days.